Hello everybody, my name is Sarah at Pearls of Wisdom and Food on both Facebook and YouTube. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. What discouraging words they are. Do you do that to yourself? I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda. Well, stop doing those words. Yes, there's this financial planner that I listen to and he says, when do you plant a tree? And he said 20 years ago. It's like starting your IRA. When do you start your IRA? Shoulda, woulda, coulda, 40 years ago for me. That's how we do things. Gain 40 or 50 pounds. I shoulda, coulda, woulda stopped at 10 because I'd already been through Weight Watchers once and I knew how that works. But did I stop? No. I kept going until I got to this incredible weight gain that just seemed so discouraging, so depressing, and so dismal. Stop it. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Do something now. Think of the health benefit you will get if you stop right now into the stop the incline, stop the gain right now. Do what you have to do. If you realize that you've got a food addiction and all the tracking blah, blah, blahs in the world won't make you want to start tracking, if all the Weight Watcher meetings where you're standing or you're sitting there and somebody's talking to you and you've got the tracker and you've got the bells, the whistles, the PPV, the SP, all of it. You've got the charts and graphs, you write it out, you do everything. And that's not working, maybe the food addiction 12-step meeting could work for you. Maybe realizing that the overeating is a symptom of an underlying issue for you. And that maybe this time, you'll want to do something about the weight that you've been allowing to go up and up is surrounding you to protect you from something. Is it easy to face those truths, to get some help, to do with dealing with it? Of course it isn't. But a lot of us do. And a lot of us find relief. I'm still a foodie, in and out. I went over 40 years ago to my 12-step program. It was my entryway. It was because food had become such an issue for me. I couldn't stop eating. I had no full button. And I think because I was younger, I might not have suffered the same things that an older person might feel. I don't know if I had constipation. I don't know if I felt bloated. I don't know what I weighed. Didn't want to know. All I knew is that I couldn't stop eating. I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Well, I did. I went to OA and got some of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas taken care of. I did learn that I had a disease of addiction, that more was never going to be enough. So I had to look into some of the things that I was doing and stop them. The weight also went down because they had this, at that point, early 70s, they had this real stringent sheet, the orange sheet and the gray sheet. I don't know if they use them today, but I'm telling you, it was probably a 700 to 800 calorie a day food plan. So yeah, you lost, but it was probably a white knuckler for me. I don't know. But after eating the copious amounts of foods that I used to eat, and I was working in a pizza and grinder joint, I could eat all I want, I could drink all I want. It was never ending. And I worked with larger sized women like me, and every night was just a new version, a new variety of a pizza or a grinder. We just ate with no stops on us. Nobody was saying, maybe cut back a little. Maybe you don't have to have that pizza with extra cheese every single night. It's like, Oh, why not? You know, probably our little snotty comments might be, well, you're in here drinking every day. What's the difference if we have a pizza every day, right? That would be my logic back then. My little sarcastic, snooty little self that I was. And so the journey that gets us to where you're sitting there listening to me right now is your own personal journey. And it took what it took for you to get here. But you don't need to shoulda, coulda, woulda anymore. You can deal with the pain of why you overeat. You can deal with the pain of not wanting to overeat. You can deal with, finding solutions right here and right now. If going to a meeting and paying somebody that kind of money and then being expected to buy all these healthy foods is totally out of your budget, then you can learn from sites like this and other sites how you can do it. It comes from basically the only thing you need on the inner aisles is extra virgin olive oil. I mean, from what I'm gathering, or your Keurig coffees. But everything that I shop for comes from produce mostly, the meat section mostly, and the dairy aisles, So I get most of my sustenance from those places. In fact, if not most of it, I am not shopping the inner aisles of the store, except for maybe some tomatoes for when I do my fathead pizza or when I make a sauce. I do usually buy the Classico spicy red pepper sauce. It has the lowest amount of sugar that I've seen outside of making my own, and sometimes I make my own. But for that, one jar will make 2 meals for both Greg and me, because I always add things to it. And so, yeah, I usually shop the vegetable and fruit section, mostly buying vegetables now. And then I scoot around to the meat section, and then I scoot around through the dairy and get my organic eggs and my my organic coconut milk and my Kerrygold butter. When I'm in BJ's, I get my coconut oil. That's, I guess, an inner aisle. So my oils come from the inner aisle, but not much else. And that's how I do it. And so if you need to save the $25 a month or the $43 a month if you have both things through Weight Watchers, that's substantial, right? So if you're spending $43, $44 to belong to Weight Watchers, and you know that it would be better spent buying some baby organic spinach leaves, maybe a couple of packages of some berries, and maybe a good non-milk milk, like the So Delicious coconut milk, and you need some Kerrygold butter and things like that, and maybe some organic veggies, that $44 would really help, wouldn't it? Maybe some grass-fed burger. That's probably the cheapest grass-fed there. Sometimes you can find some of the chicken parts on sale at Stop and Shop. So that's what you can do that keep you eating healthy. Avoid the processed foods, avoid the grains, avoid the added sugars, avoid the artificial sugars, which means that most everything on the inner aisles, you don't need the crunchy, chippy things anymore. I mean, I'm not telling you what you don't need anymore, but I mean, those are the things that will make the difference between being successful in your shoulda, coulda, woulda. And so 8 weeks from now, if this is the last week in April, by the 4th of July weekend, you could be 8 or 9 weeks into a whole new food program, a whole new food plan, a whole new way of eating, a whole new way of life. And you don't ever have to turn back. You can just find the whole foods. They satisfy, they nourish, they probably keep you from being sick if you got sick a lot last summer and, you weren't having some of the healthier choices that you could have. You can do this without a program. There are apps online that are totally, totally free. MyFitnessPal, Spark People, Lose It has a free app, and then there's some other ones. All you have to do is Google free food trackers, and a whole bunch will pop up. MyFitnessPal, I guess, does the ratios for no extra cost, and Lose It is a $40 a year fee. That's what I ended up getting. So I can do my fat ratios and the macros, I guess some people call them that. So your shoulda, coulda, woulda for the last week in April could be, I am so glad I did that on the 4th of July. And you never have to look back, because once you start eating good, wholesome foods with real healthy fats, no vegetable fats, no canola oil, no sunflower oil, none of those oils. No. You want to have extra virgin olive oil. You want to have extra virgin coconut oil. I don't know. Those are the ones that I have. And the Kerrygold grass-fed butter. Get your organic eggs. And you can get so satisfied, so soul-nourished and body-nourished just by eating wholesome foods. You really can. And in a previous video, I talked about this one doctor that has his clients get healthy food-wise before looking at weight loss, because their bodies have been so damaged by so many years of putting in the not healthy foods. There are no essential grains. There are no essential grains needed. And if you need flours, there's coconut flour and almond flour if you go the grain-free way. Some people can have grains. I'm not one of them. I choose not to be one of them. So I have the fathead pizza with the almond meal, and that satisfies. I have spaghetti squash. I have zoodles with zucchini. Those are some of the things I do. So think about it. Last week in April, you could do the shoulda, coulda, woulda, and on 4th of July, you could be so happy with making that pivotal, that's like half pathetic and pivotal decision today, the last week in April, to change your food plan. Finally, you can do it. You can find tons of podcasts that will support you. You can watch me every day, where I bring to the forefront health, food manufacturers, health issues, food manufacturer dupings, cons, all those kind of things. You can eat healthy, you can eat well, you can lose the weight, stay out of the middle aisles except for your oils, and I'm telling you, you can do it. End of April, first week in July, you will be such a happy, content, satiated person. And you won't be shoulda, coulda, wouldaing all over yourself. Mustn't shoulda on yourself, right? So this has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom in Food. And you can try our way or anybody else's, but you'll find not eating the standard American diet will be the best thing you've ever done for your health and your weight loss. Thanks for watching. Please comment below. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom in Food. Bye-bye for now.